Testing, testing, 1 2 1 2. Yeah, I know you guys hear this. Yo, I low-key just beat the doo-doo mic allegations. I have to thank you guys for that, because, like, I'm not gonna lie, if I didn't see that one comment under my video saying that my mic audio was doo-doo, and everybody just telling me constantly, I don't think I would have bought this mic, but obviously I did. And it sounds good. I mean, listen, it's not one of the best ones, but at least you're not having to hear stupid background. But yeah, welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm gonna be going over what if Sanji went up against all of Zoro's opponents. I say all, but like 90% of them. Okay, like I'm not gonna lie, I'm missing out a few because listen, you know, sometimes when you just look at an opponent, you're like, you know, bro, I'm not trying to go over that fight. Like, I'm not even trying to go over the Fishman Island. Bro, I don't even remember his name. But yeah, as you can already tell, I've already like adjusted my mic audio quality. I'm trying to see what is best for you guys, so like bear with me. I'm just trying to be good for you guys. Please accept me. Alright, let me just get into the video, man. I'm stalling. So for all of Zoro's opponents pre-Baratie, I do think that Sanji just completely fodderizes him, as he does beat a Marine Lieutenant on his first introduction. It wasn't even like it was a contest. Sanji just completely fodderizes him, as we can see no marks, no nothing on Sanji, and he's just holding up a beaten up and bloody Marine Lieutenant. So I'm going to give Sanji every opponent pre-Baratie. To even back up my statement, Sanji does have a one-on-one fight with Gin, and to be honest, it does look like he was about to win, but obviously his injuries got to him. It was obviously previously inflicted by Pearl, and Pearl was basically off guarding Sanji like a few times and was just literally getting free cheap shots on him. It's more of a thing where Sanji just succumbed to his injuries and not Gin himself, if that makes sense, because we can see in this panel that the force of Sanji's kicks alone are doing more damage to him than any of Gin's attacks. So already we can say that Sanji's kind of on that grand line sort of level. Next is Mihawk, and yeah, I'm not going over that. Sanji just loses. Next is Hachi, and he gets fodderized. Like, it's not even close. I'm gonna give you guys a few feats right here. So going off of the consensus that Hachi and Kurobi are near each other, I'm not gonna say equal, but I'm gonna say near each other. To start, Zoro was more struggling on his health issues than he was with Hachi himself. Literally, as he defeats Hachi, he's talking about his wounds, saying he can't die. Like, bro, he does not care about Hachi, he cares about his wounds. And if we look at Sanji versus Kurobi, the fight is way too one-sided. Kurobi hits Sanji with like a straight on attack, and Sanji just gets up like, oh, okay, that was nice. After taking that hit, Sanji's like, yeah, Zeph would be like 10 times stronger than you, and just jumps into the water. And this is where Kurobi just gets his attacks off, and well, it doesn't really do much to Sanji. The only reason they even fight in the first place is because Kurobi damaged Sanji's pride. He said he couldn't save anyone, and Sanji was like, oh, I really can't? Alright, bet, come let's fight. Kurobi hurt Sanji's pride more than he actually hurt him physically. So obviously they get up there and Sanji just beats him in one combo. It just wasn't close at all. Like, the fight wasn't close. So if we take both of their fights and look at them, we'll be able to see that Sanji completely fodderizes Hachi. It wouldn't be close. Now, there are 100 people from Baroque works. I don't know if Sanji will be able to take them all down, but I'm gonna assume he could. Since Sanji doesn't really fight anyone between there and Alabasta, I'm gonna assume that Sanji could take them down. As I've stated, Sanji didn't really have a major fight, meaning you couldn't really grow in between there and Alabasta. The next fight we do see is him taking on Mr. Free, and it wasn't even close. Like, Sanji completely just bullies him. I'm gonna assume Sanji can take all 100 of them down. Now we're finally onto one of the big boys, and that's Mr. One. And this is where Sanji does fall flat and does not beat him. I feel like they would have an okay fight, but I think Mr. One would beat him just with the purely fact of his devil fruit. Sanji prior to this did have impressive AP feats, but I don't think they'll be enough to take down Mr. One. Next is yeah, I'm not going over that, man. But the people that really want to know, Sanji just beat him. Now we're finally here, Andy's lobby. Now we have Kaku versus Sanji, where Sanji just absolutely destroys Kaku the exact same way he destroyed Jabra. Jabra quite literally states he's the most proficient at Tekai since he can use it all over his body. And if Sanji was able to get past his defenses that easily, then yeah, I don't think Kaku can really do anything. Plus, this is like one of the only times where we get a direct power level for two opponents, and they are literally on the exact same level. And this is with Sanji's injuries. If I took away Sanji's injuries and he went into the fight fresh, Jesus Christ, Kaku ain't making it out alive. So yeah, Kaku does get fodderized. Next is Ryuma, and since I hadn't read Thriller Bark in a while, I was kind of skeptical on where to place him in terms of power scaling. But then after some advice and going back to reread the fight, I can just tell that it's just broke with Ryuma's body. And in this part of the series, Sanji and Zoro are very, very close in power. So yes, I do have Sanji beating Ryuma. The next fight is in Fishman Island, and yeah, I already said at the start of the video, I'm not going over this, man. But next is Pika, and yeah, I know I'm gonna get some hate over this one. Now to start, in Fishman Island, Sanji does fight Watsutsume with Jinbei. No, I just did say with Jinbei, but you gotta put it in context. Jinbei hits him up to Sanji, and Sanji basically just beats him there. Now the reason I bring that up is because of his size. He's literally stated to be mountain size, so if we compare him to Pika, we know that Pika is a similar sort of size, so I do believe that Sanji, with his Hell's Memories, would be able to damage him, and especially if he gets help like Zoro did. Since we know that more speed is more power, if Sanji was able to get more speed from people throwing him, then yeah, he would be able to take down Pika. Full body Haki Pika is like a different thing in itself. If you think that Stone Pika has more durability than full body Haki Pika, then Sanji win. But I just think it's just a purely durability thing. I think everything else Sanji will probably be able to take that. Now we're getting onto one of Sanji's most controversial fights there is. That is King versus Sanji. Now personally, I do believe that Sanji just beats King like straight up. It's not even close now. Like I think Egghead has solidified it for me. But if you don't agree, I'm here to scale it for you, so come, let me show you. Now, first of all, I'm going to go over the speed feast. Now, I know a lot of people will be like, oh, here you go, the speed feast, but wait, let me explain this to you. Speed is one of King's main things, since if you don't have enough speed, he quite literally doesn't have a reason to turn off his fire. So whenever you put King in a fight, you should always ask yourself, does that person force King to turn off his flames? And in Sanji's case, that's absolutely the point. Now, Marco goes up against King and Queen, right? And obviously he blitzes them both, but we need to go over the states King and Queen were in. Queen was in his base and was still able to see Marco. Obviously he couldn't react, but he was still able to see Marco. While King was in his fire mode and he was able to see Marco and not react as well, which means King and Queen in their base do have similar reaction times, or just perception times, if that makes sense. So already that scales fire mode King. We know that fire mode King doesn't have more speed than Marco. So how does Sanji get roped into this? Well, we just look at Queen. Queen in a much stronger form was getting perception blitzed by Sanji like multiple times, and that was by Diable Jambe and by Ifrit Jambe. So if Diable Jambe Sanji was able to perception blitz Queen, we're not even going to imagine what he could do to King. And I say it like that because King was in his most basic form while King was obviously in his fire mode, the mode that he uses most of the time. So fire mode King wouldn't be able to see Sanji, but then what happens when he turns off his flames? See, the thing is, we actually don't know the increase of speed both of them get. Sanji for Ifrit Jambe and King for his fire off mode. But I'm going to put this out there, I don't think the jump from flame off King to flame on King would basically put him from not being able to see Sanji to then being able to fight Sanji and keep up with him. But if that's the case, then Sanji would need to go into his Ifrit Jambe mode and then it would be a straight stomp. As I do believe that Sanji does have enough AP to damage flame off King. And now last but not least, we have this bum Rob Lucci. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, Sanji beats him. And it's purely off of the fact that Lucci has way less durability and he has way less endurance than King. As King was shown to be able to take 3 ACOC attacks while Lucci could only take 1. And I'm not going to sit here and say that Sanji has the exact same AP as Zoro, he doesn't. But I'm saying that because he has way less endurance and I do believe that Sanji beats King, he should be able to beat Rob Lucci since he is slower as well. When King went into his flame off mode, Zoro had to counter him, not actually just straight on attack him. I mean, aside from his final attack, but that was a head on attack. While with Lucci, I don't even think Lucci landed a hit on him. Also with AP as well, King does scale above Lucci as he has been shown to use a Thunderbug or level attack. And Lucci doesn't really have that under his belt, so I don't think Lucci is doing anything to Sanji. If you ask me how I see this fight going, I see Sanji flipping his eyebrows, putting a cigarette in his mouth, and going to work. So yeah, I guess that's the end of the video. As if Sanji went up against all of Zoro's opponents. I hope you guys enjoyed it and I hope you're not smashing your computer screens, because I kind of did say Sanji beats most of them aside from like a few that I do think Sanji does have questionable luck against is Pika and who's the other one? Alright, Mr. One, yeah, Mr. One. Yeah, the rest of them, I mean for King, if you want to make a point that you don't think Sanji will be able to damage flame off King, which is kind of stupid, but I mean look, go ahead man. But if you want to make that point, go ahead. I'm completely up for it since I know in the future Sanji's going to debunk that anyway. If you think that obliterating a laser is kind of cool, then I guess you could say that does put Sanji above that since the Seraphim. Well, I mean, it was more of a thing where the Seraphim hadn't been tested. I was trying to say that the Seraphim couldn't take lasers, but it wasn't. They hadn't been tested. I don't know why people try to use that as a feat, but it's whatever, it's One Piece. But yeah, there isn't any like proper concrete scaling for King's flame off durability. All we know is that Zoro could damage it and he has ACOC. So I mean, like I don't really know what to tell you, but from what Zoro told Lucci, Kaku and Luffy, telling him that once they turn the flames off they can be damaged, I'm gonna assume that their durability isn't that high, like isn't really high. When I say they, I'm talking about the Seraphim, which is also talking about King. If Zoro thinks that Kaku and Lucci can damage him, I'm gonna definitely assume Sanji can. But yeah, that's just my verdicts on Sanji versus King. Anyway, I love you all, seriously. Thank you for all the support on my videos. And so for all the Zoro fans, don't worry, the Zoro agenda video is coming soon, like very soon. I would expect the content on my channel to like expand. I'm gonna be moving on to different series like Dragon Ball, Jujutsu Kaisen, My Hero, Sakamoto Days, all of the new shit, and Dragon Ball, because that is my love. That you think I love One Piece? But yeah, once again, I love you all, and I'll see you guys next time.